Hey guys, this is Hell Hades free to play. Guys, I'm back on the free to play account trying to show off Ultimate Death Knight against Hydra Clan Boss. Hydra is one of those kind of challenges that people really are struggling with still, even though they've done a whole bunch of kind of nerfs and stuff. On the free to play, I'm normally just hitting normal. And honestly, like, hitting normal, you start to rack up these Mithrala Lifebane fragments pretty quick. I think I'm going to have Mithrala probably before I have Lydia on the free-to-play account. And this is a massive, massive champion to obtain for tons of content. Yeah, Mithrala is really, really worth the grind. So I'm kind of like all in for that. I'm going to try and show you how to use Ultimate Death Knight to direct the head of Mischief. Yeah, an annoying, annoying head, which pretty much just starts to ruin your day. So Ultimate Death Knight, why is he going to be good here? I've still got him in the build that I've been running for the solo dungeon build at the moment. I'm hoping I can just keep the same build because I don't want to have to keep changing up builds on a free-to-play. It's too expensive. Endgame players change their build from Hydra to normal content almost weekly in some of the stuff. Like they really do. Or some of them do anyway. So why is he going to be good for Hydra? We've got a Provoke for the Head of Decay. So it's a decent chance to land it if you booked him out 50%, 50-50. A Provoke stops all of those debuffs that you've put out there being cleansed off. So it's actually a really good or a decent option for that. We've got as well an AoE decrease attack. So especially if there's the Head of Wrath around, you want decrease attack on, but all of the heads scale from attack damage. So if you can get decrease attack out there, it's going to help you. It's on a 3 turns, not too bad. He's going to bring us some protection and healing, which is cool. And he's also going to be able to bring us this passive. And this passive is interesting, right? So whenever an ally is attacked, 100% chance it gets pushed onto Ultimate Death Knight if it's a single target hit. And guess what happens when the Head of Mischief tries to steal your buffs? He always goes after one enemy. Yeah, and it will be the enemy with the most buffs. The cool thing here is, even if Ultimate Death Knight does not have the most buffs, the attack will be redirected to Ultimate Death Knight and he will try and steal Ultimate Death Knight's buffs. Yeah, so, I mean, if we was to have a look here at the Raid Stages tool. So, for those who have not seen this, I show it a few times now, but you should check it out on hellhades.com, Raid Stages tool. Click into it. We're on Hydra Rotation 4, so click in there, Hydra Rotation 4, normal, and it tells us the stats of the heads. So the one that we're up against, really, the one I care about right now is this Head of Mischief. I want to know what his accuracy is, and therefore how much resistance do I need. So I actually need 350 resistance. It's quite a lot for me on my free-to-play account, especially in the build that I've got. And I know that I'm going to struggle with that. It also shows you how much resistance the enemies have got, by the way. And you can see here on normal, the resistances are low, therefore the accuracy you need for normal is actually really low. We're talking like on average about 140 accuracy per head. In terms of the active ones from the start, 145 is kind of like your trigger really to be able to land your debuffs on the enemy heads. It's not a lot at all, but that 355 is a lot. And it's more than I've got right now in my build. If you look at my build right now, I've actually got like 270. So I'm a good 80 short. What I'm going to do, I don't have many people with resistance auras. I do have a resistance aura on Seer, which will give me 40. So I'm going to try and run it in this build. I don't ideally want to have to change my build because this is my solo dungeon build. But if I did have to change it, I could do stuff around masteries, or I could just kind of like switch out some of this perception gear for resistance gear, or just take him out of toxic completely for now and try and find other gear that's going to work. But let's try this out. Definitely, if you're struggling with Hydra, especially that Head of Mischief, he's going to be like top tier to be able to direct it where you want it. So I've got to say, Seer is not ideal here for me. I'd much rather have perhaps a, I don't know, another support type unit in. Maybe my Venom Mage, something like that, or maybe my Farakin as like an ally attack type of champion. Because honestly, Seer's not doing a lot for me. She's not doing a lot at all. But she's going to bring me that aura, and I hope it's going to be enough to stop me getting my buffs stolen every time that mischievous head gets in the mix. Let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to start off by A1ing over here. Try and force a weaken. Try and force him to use one of his cleanses. This is why I've set myself up. I'm going to start with some shields. Does his self-cleanse. That's done. And then we start to roll in. So I've got Deliana Speed Tune to go in between the two so I can land my block debuffs, hopefully, on as many heads as possible. So I've got it on 3. We've only got 1 poison cloud to deal with. It's not too bad. And now I can start getting some buffage up. Debuffs on the enemies. I've got a provoke here on my Vogoth. So I'm going to try and provoke first with Vogoth. We got it. That's good. I was like, this Head of Mischief did not just target my Ultimate Death Knight. It's a boss. It's a 50-50 chance he's going to target Ultimate Death Knight. I was like, I've just wasted this video. No, it's a 50-50. Okay, that makes some sense. So we didn't land at that time, but still 50-50 is useful. Better than nothing, as I would say. I really want to get my burn away. I was not aiming for the provoke there. So we're going to try and get decreased attack everywhere, which we've landed. That's good. And now we're kind of starting to get in the swing of things. So we're going to try and decrease resistance. Basically throw out anyone who's got the... didn't land it anyway. Anyone who's got the buffs. Head of Wrath's already kind of stacking up here. So that decreased attack is going to be pretty useful for me there. Block buffs have stopped him kind of spreading all of those other debuffs anyway. Head of Wrath's had a go, but not really done too much because we've got our Helicaf in this team. And now we just kind of use our Ultimate Death Knight to try and land provokes, basically. That's what we're aiming for. Didn't land a provoke there, which is annoying because now wanting to burn. And this is the thing you kind of got to play around with. You know, if I got the provoke away there, again, a 50-50. I wish it was a higher percentage. I really wish instead of being a higher percentage for legendaries, it was actually a higher percentage for Hydra. I think that would have been better for his kit, but we are where we are. His kit is actually still really good. I've done all this time without being able to put my burn out, which is kind of annoying. Maybe I should have just tried to do it earlier on. Reapply shields. So you see there, Head of Mischief went after Seer, actually tried to hit Ultimate Death Knight instead, and it got resisted. So we're able to keep our buffs away from that Head of Mischief. Try and get some damage away at last. Come on. Reapply shields. Got the stun over here. And now we should finally get a burn out. Yeah, we get the burns going, and that should start to give us some damage. So I'm going to hit auto from here, let it run through. But for those people that are really struggling, I mean, considering I've had a terrible run so far, I've already nearly hit the initial chest. Yeah, I've already nearly done it, mainly through deflecting most of the big skills that the head of the Hydra's going to do. That's mainly what's going on here. I'm just kind of like stopping the Hydra doing what it wants to do. Well, it's actually pretty damn close. I'm sneaking a top chest on normal against a rotation, which I've found pretty difficult on the free-to-play, honestly. So we'll see the stats in a minute, how much work, you know, Ultimate Death Knight's done versus the rest of these guys. But that is not a bad run. We've got 600k damage from Ultimate Death Knight, similar to Helicaf. Deliana's done a bit more of her AoEs. Walking Tomb drains my damage in there. He's the burn. Seer was a bit of a waste of space, honestly, but I did need that aura because my stats were just not high enough. His healing here, 300k of healing. And obviously he was doing shielding and stuff as well, plus the decreased attack. I think he's actually pretty much bob-on made to come into Hydra and do this job. Provoking the Head of Decay whilst being the Head of Mischief tank 50% of the time. I do wonder if you just put him in a Blood Shield accessory, then you've got a better chance of the Head of Mischief just straight up targeting him anyway. But if not, you've got a 50-50 chance of him being the tank. And I think actually, even like through to later game teams, certainly on my main account, I'm going to be experimenting with him as my tank because, you know, it just makes it easier if you know where it's going. Bearing in mind the rest of his kit actually helps you as well. But there you go, guys. Ultimate Death Knight with something else to do. The guy's running out of time. He's got so many jobs right now. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.